Welcome to another triathlon podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another triathlon podcast. Enjoy the ride.
Here we are with another triathlon podcast brought to you by Mana Apparel. Stay tuned. We have something exciting today with an interview with athlete Menno Koolhaas, who will be tearing it up on the T100 series this year. And he had an epic performance with a fifth in Kona last year as well. So stay tuned. As soon as we give our training updates and what's going on in our world, we'll jump into that interview. But for now, I'm joined by Josh. Josh, how's the training life going these days? I see you're putting in some massive numbers again. You outdid me this week.
That's because you took a rest day, so I didn't get one of those. But yeah, I think just under 23 hours this week. And again, the big sessions are kind of like those testing points, and they continue to kind of hit. I mentally, I feel like, and we talk about this with Menno in the interview, the mental aspect of it is such a huge piece of racing, of training. And there were sessions on this week's calendar that I looked at and I was like, man, that's going to be rough. And I had a 3x20 bike ride at way above race pace type watts, and actually up the watts each of the three intervals. But by the time I got to the first one, it was like an hour plus into the ride. By the time I started the intervals, I was like, there's no way. And next thing you know, you get into it and you're like, oh, I only have 5 minutes left in this first interval. And then like, oh, let's see what I can up it to. And it's been, I keep saying the same thing over and over again, broken record, but it's been a really, really cool experiment with my body, my physio. Everything's just kind of changed for the better and staying healthy. And that's a testament to my coach and all the strength training that we've done to enable my body to deal with the workload. And then was able to go out and do a 14-mile long run this weekend. And I do wish that we have the same wind conditions on Marathon Monday, because I ran the course and it was like a good little side wind, tailwind. I don't think any world records would be ratified type conditions, but the first 3 miles were into the wind as well too. But it was just a great day. Again, though, the first couple miles, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make 14 or do it at 8-minute pace, and ended up running 8:14 for the day, and was really happy with that for a long run with the volume that I'm off of this week. And then finished up the 23-hour week with a 3.5-hour bike and a 4-mile run last night, and just woke up feeling ready to go again. So we got another big week on tap, and then I think we'll start to taper into Oceanside.
There we go. And that's such a good reminder. When the volume really gets up there, that's something that I notice as well, is that warm up. Just don't let it get to your head. Sometimes you can start these workouts on fatigued legs, everything feels tight, you just feel off. It just doesn't feel like you can actually do the workout ahead. And sometimes those end up being the best workouts. But so many people, they'll feel how terrible it feels in that first like 15 or 20 minutes as their body's kind of loosening up, or they'll try to push the warm up and think, like, mentally just check out. They're like, okay, this is going to be terrible. It feels awful. I'm not going to do good. And they let that get into their head a lot more, where sometimes you just gotta let the legs loosen up, trust the process, and see how you feel as you go throughout it.
Yeah, I think if you're not battling an obvious injury, just trust yourself, trust your coach, and get on. Because a lot of us are very good at delaying the start of our workouts and procrastinating and having that extra cup of coffee, or, oh, I need another banana, or whatever it may be. And it's like, oh, let me double check my training peaks, or there's always something that keeps you from starting. But what I've learned in this process is once I get going, it ends up being doable. And I end up surprising myself in most of these sessions. And I had a 1,000 swim, straight 1K swim, which don't get too many of those in training. And a lot of it's 100s and 50s and 200s, and done a lot of hard 50s, which has been great too, to work on that speed mentality. But the straight 1K was a huge PR for me. I mean, we don't do a lot of them, so there's not much of a data set in my world, but a straight 1K, it was my fastest by a long shot. And that was a big confidence booster. Even if it wasn't like what I want to do on race day, it was still a huge PR from my swims at Oceanside in the past. And that's a very nice feeling to have going into that swim and knowing that I'm already there. And now anything I do is just kind of icing on the cake and get it down. For me, if I can get into like the 35 minute swim, that's insane considering I haven't broken 40 yet in Oceanside.
Yeah.
So that would be a great day for me. And that makes the bike even better, as we know. And then the bike volume, like 3.5 hour rides. Like, well, hopefully my ride in Oceanside is an hour less. Just the mentality behind it all is really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, speaking of big sessions though, you had quite the big session confidence booster race type environment, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Last week, like I said, I've been doing things a little bit differently where it's been 2 very easy days and then a big long break and then 2 easy days and then a big long break. So last week looked totally different. It's so bizarre having 2 days where it's just easy spins. Nothing was longer than an hour on the 2 easy days either way, which is kind of bizarre for me. But Wednesday had this big break. It ended up being like 4.5 hours with mostly optimistic race watts, but then some touches into zone 4 just to keep it interesting, add a little bit more. And I had that ride and then did a 6 mile run off of it and just imploded on the run. It just, legs had nothing. Everything was tightening up. And I was just like, this feels terrible. Could not hold the pace I want to. And, I think that's something that we need to talk about sometimes too. Like, training doesn't always go to plan. If you have a good coach, they can usually get you pretty dialed in so that the efforts are manageable. But sometimes you need to test and push it a little bit further than that, get a little bit of that overload. And that means sometimes workouts just aren't going to work. And that's not a failure on you as an athlete. It's not anything to be like hold in your head or let it dissuade your confidence, because you're usually going to these workouts pretty tired and not on fresh legs. So did that workout Wednesday and was like, okay, this sucks, but I've got 2 days, pretty easy. And then Saturday was the big test session. So I did a reel on this one because I think this is one of the absolutely most key workouts you need to do in an Ironman build. It was a long ride, ended up being 5 hours. For me, I ended up doing 4 by 1 hour at Ironman watts with a couple touches into zone 3. So a little bit about that. I did it repeating as 12 minutes optimistic Ironman watts, 3 minutes zone 3, kind of on the higher end, just under zone 4, and just keep repeating that for an hour, 5 to 10 minutes easy in between, just kind of keep repeating for 5 hours. And the goal here is to stress your legs like it's going to feel race day, mentally, physically, kind of get an idea of what that grindy feeling is going to feel like, and then doing as much of it as possible in race position. That's something I'd been slacking on previously, but the last few sessions have been good at actually staying in aero position on the trainer, which it's so much easier to stay in aero outside just because you're moving faster.
Yeah.
Inside,
it's so true.
Outside, you have the incentive of speed.
Yeah.
Inside doesn't make a difference whatsoever.
But it is huge to train as much in aero as possible because it is different muscles, the lower back muscles, the glutes, the hams, the hips, everything's in a different position.
Yeah, absolutely. So ended up doing that and was feeling really good during it. Again, with the heat training, I'm doing the opposite of, because I can't go to Singapore and Thailand to go train somewhere hot. So I am doing the overdressed in the basement. So did it all with no fan, tri-suit, clothes over that, just to get the heat stress in there too. And even that heart rate has come way down while overdressed with no fan. So the body's adapting there. And then was testing out nutrition. I was kind of aiming for around that 90 grams of carbs per hour. I was just over that and everything felt solid. So that was really good to see. And then it was off the bike straight into a 10-mile run at kind of slightly faster than race pace and to see how the legs feel. And that pace I couldn't hold for 6 miles on Wednesday, held comfortably for 10 and was feeling good enough that it was the first workout where it's like, I could conceive of running another 16 miles after this and keep going. So that was such a good confidence boost just to see where the body's at. Everything's feeling good. And yeah, I think I can do an Ironman. So we're on track.
It's a testament too, because you've always trained well, but you've had some lapses in the straight consistency or swim, bike, run, and then you went into duathlon. But the ramp that you have because of the base fitness that you've had has been tremendous. And I've seen that even with my own training, like after Chicago Marathon and then doing the run in Paris. I was still training, but my fitness was almost kind of dropping a little bit because it wasn't at the same volumes. And I was battling some injuries and making sure the strength was there. But as soon as we flipped the switch in January, it's just been the trajectory, and the body has recovered because we've taught it to over the years to be ready for it. And so if you have had time off or haven't had the straight, consistent training, you will get it back pretty quickly if you find that way to get consistent again. And that's been the biggest thing that I've learned in this training block, is that consistency just compiles on top of each other.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. And it's been probably since, I think 2022 is the last time I had a solid training block where training was the focus. And now the caveat to all that being is the last few years, same with both us, both training consistently. But there's a difference between kind of training and fitting it in around all the life stress and everything else going on, and being able to train and have a better balance where you can focus on the training a little bit more. So you're not going to recover as well if you don't have that kind of time and balance where you can really focus on it. So yeah, I've been fit and training for the last few years. But having kind of shifting life priorities for a few months to have a little bit more focus on Ironman and be able to spend a little bit more time on recovering, it makes a massive difference if you have less of that life stress. Obviously still working and doing all the things too, just not putting in 10-hour days. So actually have some time to recover and train and do a little bit more there.
And I think about this often too, because I can see I've had questions like, how do you have time to do all this type of stuff? And I still am working during the day. Most of my training is outside of work hours. I've got a 17-year-old daughter who has her dance activities and outside of school activities and all the things that don't go up on Instagram and on Strava that we are still doing, but we are prioritizing the training as well. And so it does fit into those schedules. And this week I dropped my daughter off. Last couple of weeks, actually, I've dropped my daughter off at dance on Wednesdays and she's got 2. At the second one, I use that 45-minute class to do my 6-mile run. And I'll drop her off a little early and I'll get my 6 miles done and I get back to the car as she's coming out. And that's just kind of how that schedule works for me on that day. So it's prioritizing the things that you need to do to accomplish what you want to do outside of the regular work and parenthood type lifestyle.
Yeah, and that may mean you can't do it all the time. Like I typically race an Ironman every 2 to 3 years and really go all in it because, I'm not a pro athlete, can't train like this all the time or else, life, family, work, all of that other stuff would kind of fall apart. But that's where we really see that delineation between like top age groupers who are still working and having really good results and the pro athletes who can focus on this, focus on the recovery, put the time in, train at optimal times a day, sleep when they need to, and just have that kind of lower outside life stress. I think that's really the biggest difference. We see a lot of age groupers putting in the same training and volume as some of the pros. They're just missing that recovery piece. So not getting that same benefit because, life is hectic and we all got to pay the bills and take care of family at the end of the day too.
I think that just reminded me I need to take a nap at some point today.
I had a full rest day yesterday. That was bizarre. A full rest day on a Sunday is something I don't know the last time I had. It was almost like, what do I do with myself?
I mean, that's earned after a race rehearsal, like a true race rehearsal that you had too. So that's it's a good reminder to others that you don't have to go every day either. Yeah. And you do need those big days to recoup on after a big workout like that.
Definitely. But I think we're both on track here. You got Oceanside coming up in 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Just under 4 weeks now, yeah.
And then I'll be racing the weekend after in Taiwan. So it's going to be a lot of fun training ahead. Getting towards the pointy end of the training, it all starts to ease off a little bit from here.
Yeah, we got our first Pro Series race coming up in 2 weeks at 70.3 Geelong. So we'll get back into some race predictions and our typical pro stuff. But this interview we just did with Menno is really cool, and you guys will really, really like this and enjoy that. And hopefully we'll keep getting some more pro athletes and other guests for you in the future. But it's been fun, keeps us going.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know. We'll put up some posts here. Let us know what athletes you want to hear us talk to. Let us know if you have any questions while training, racing, and everything going on in your world. And check us out on YouTube because we've got everything on video now. But until then, stay tuned. We are going to pop in that interview with Menno Koolhaas. This week, we got something special. We do have a guest on here, a pro athlete who is definitely making a name for himself in the sport. and had some incredible results last year. We're going to dive into how he got into the sport and what he's up to in 2025, which sounds like it's going to be quite the season. But first, let's introduce him. Welcome, Menno Koolhaas. We're glad to have you on the podcast. How are you doing?
Oh, welcome. Thank you. Very nice to be here. Yeah, I'm good. Preparing for the first race of the season. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of fast. And as always, joined by Josh. Josh, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Kind of wish I was in Mallorca, but it sounds like it's a little dull weather over there right now. So maybe not currently, but jealous of where you're at.
It's not the best at the moment, but will be better.
Perfect. How long have you been over in Mallorca for?
For now, it's the 4th day, and I'm here 2 weeks. So, yeah, a lot to come. Yeah, the weather will be better now. So we had some rainy days, but yeah, it will be better. So looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, it's snowing over here in Canada, so I would take some rain at this point.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
Well, let's jump into it. We wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and how you got into triathlon. It sounds like you got a pretty early start here, but what got you started in this crazy sport?
Yeah, I started triathlon when I was 9. So it's a
Wow.
long time ago. Like a colleague of my dad, yeah, he brought us to the local triathlon club, and it's something what's not so normally in the Netherlands to do triathlon. You normally go play football or hockey or that kind of sport. So I started triathlon when I was 9. Did my first race, nothing serious. I could run a little bit because I did football, and then I got second at the like my age at the championships. So yeah, that started it a little bit. First of all, it was like fun. I was not really good. It was nothing serious. It was not like people thought that's the new, I don't know, Jan Frodeno or something. So for me, I was always watching like Kona. In the Netherlands, we always watch it at night. I watching the Olympic Games. So I had some inspiring people I saw at a really young age. So I think that was the first year was really quite fun, nothing serious. And when I was 14, 15, I became a Dutch champion in my category. And that really started to become better and better. And when I was 16, 17, I moved to the southern part of the Netherlands where the federation is based, and there I lived intern with other athletes to prepare for the Olympics. So I did short distance as well until 2020. My focus was to go to the Olympics. Unfortunately, I didn't make the Olympics, and then I had to change something, or I quit with triathlon, or I go to long distance because my goal always was to go to the Olympics, and my beside goal for that was to once do an Ironman, but especially wanted to go to Hawaii because as a little boy I always watched the races in Hawaii. And then I did my first full distance in 2022, and that was in the mind of I'm going into it. Maybe it's my last race, maybe it's a career change. And luckily it was a little bit of a career change. So I did Frankfurt and did an 8:05 in my first Ironman, and the rest is I will not say history, but it was the first
beginning.
Just the beginning of, I hope, something way more what I already achieved. But if I look back on the 3 years I do professional long distance now, I can be happy. So I think that's a summary of my started career as a triathlete.
What was it like for your time at the Dutch training center? Like what did the days comprise of there? Because we can all think like we all go to school, go play sports, come home, eat dinner, do it all over again. What is it like as a life in that type of upbringing at that point of your career?
I have to see it as, I was 16, 17 when I moved. So I like, for me, I was living close to Amsterdam. And when you move to the south of the Netherlands, it's another culture. It's 200 kilometers away from home. For us in the Netherlands, that's quite long. And then I did some school beside because I was still studying a little bit. But the main focus was to be a triathlete. And then there are other athletes who had the same goal. So you train together, swim in the morning, like at 7, then go to school for about from 9 till 1 or 2, and then do the training in the afternoon. And that's like 5 days a week. And then you do a little bit more in the weekends. So that was like my life until I think I did 2 years of school, and then I decided to quit school and be like professional. So yeah, I think that was the base of being a professional triathlete.
Yeah. When you're doing training like that, do you prefer having kind of that team atmosphere or working with the same athletes day in, day out? Did you find you were competing with other athletes, or did you thrive in that environment? How did it go for you?
No, yeah, that's still like still when I'm training now, I'm still training together with a lot of athletes, also short distance athletes. But yeah, the main thing is to train together, be friends as well, and making each other stronger. For me, it was a really big improvement to train with other athletes, like triathletes. So I think that's a really important thing. But sometimes it's always a little bit like difficult because some athletes were already doing WTS races and I was only racing European Cups. So the level was quite, and the volume gets up. When you lived at home, you did normal school, the training is not that much. And then when you pick up the training volume, you can have like injuries or getting fatigued or that kind of stuff. So I learned a lot in those years, and maybe the results were not the best, but I think I learned so much for myself, but also for the next generation. What do you have to do or what do you don't have to do? The do's and don'ts in triathlon, I learned in those years.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to see that because we see a lot of athletes previously, a lot of athletes have come to Ironman from other sports. They haven't had that background in triathlon. Now we're seeing this new generation that started in triathlon and moved all the way up. And it seems like you definitely kind of have a leg up on the pacing, the nutrition, the how to actually train for this sport compared to some of those athletes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. You have to make faults to be better in the future. So I made a lot of faults, so mistakes and
Good luck.
injuries, but still, you're always learning and trying new things. But yeah, now it's a little bit different because I'm a little bit older. I know what I need, and it's
What kind of injuries? I mean, you've mentioned it a couple of times now. What kind of injuries have you kind of had to overcome, and what have you done differently to avoid them?
The main problem in my career was injuries in the shins. The problem was I had 2 shin stress fractures in my career and one in my in my lower back. The most of them were it's like a little bit spread out of my career. So I had one in the beginning when I just moved to the south of the Netherlands in the program. But yeah, I had also one last year right before Kona. So it's sometimes it overcomes you, but sometimes it's also a little bit in my um in my way, it's that I'm sometimes overdo because maybe it's a little bit of insecure, wanted to do more training, trying new things, and it doesn't work out. So last year I had a stress fracture after Frankfurt. So I already had it a little bit before Frankfurt. Then I qualified for Hawaii, and then after Frankfurt I went to training camp in Italy, and I was there a week and I couldn't run. It was so painful and I was hoping it was not that bad. Then I came back, did an MRI, and it was like a small stress fracture. And then I had 6 weeks for Hawaii, like the most important race of your life, and you have a stress fracture. Couldn't run for 4 or 5 weeks, but still I had to overcome it because I could say, okay, I'm not competing because I have a stress fracture. But for me, it was just, I already booked everything. I went together with my friend Tristan Olay. He was also qualified. So we went together. So for me, there was no option from not racing. Maybe it's a once of a lifetime opportunity to go to Hawaii. Maybe you never come back there. So for me, it was, I'm going there. I'm going to swim really hard. I'm going to bike really hard. And if I have to crawl, I crawl. Or if I have to walk, but I want to finish. But not knowing that it was the outcome I had last October. But yeah, it was something, it learned me that it's not over until, it's you want to train. I thought I don't have the perfect preparation. I won't be able to compete in the race. But even when you don't have the perfect preparation, you can still compete and still race one of your best races. So that's the thing I learned. But for the future, I don't want to have more injuries. Sometimes it's overcomes you. It's part of the sport. But sometimes it's also a little bit listen more to your body. Eat well, sleep well, recover well, and don't over push your body, because that's the best example for me. I just pushed a little bit too much, and then the body says on a certain moment it's too much.
Yeah. And we definitely see time and time again people going to Hawaii with less than perfect preparations, maybe a little forced recovery, which isn't good. But it's a good thing that you ended up going out there and giving it a go on the day. You had an epic performance with a fifth place in Hawaii, which is absolutely fantastic to see. What was going through your head when you're on that run thinking, a month ago you didn't know if you're going to do the race or not, and here you are running onto the podium in Hawaii?
Running past everyone.
Yeah. No crawling.
Yeah, uh, it was a crazy day. Like I run in the Netherlands on an AlterG. Like it's a recovery system when you don't run on your full body weight. So I did 3, let's say, runs, but like jogs on the AlterG, and then we arrived like 2.5 weeks before the race in Kona, and then I did my first run. And that was not painful. So that was also a really stressful moment. If it's painful, do we go or do we not go? So it was not painful. But the problem is when you don't run for 5 weeks, like your whole muscle system is completely shocked. When I did a 40 minutes jog, like my heart lung system was like, my fitness was good, but the muscles in my calves and upper legs were like, yeah, it was just not trained. So the first run was really painful, and that was also in the race. So I started the race, like the run I started as 6th or something, and really easily I run up to 3rd, but that was the good moment. But normally in an Ironman I get like my muscles get pain after 25 30 kilometers, and they already had it before Palani. So it was before 10 kilometers. My I said to my coach on the top of Palani, like, I'm dead. It's no way I can finish this. And the only thing he said was, it's now a mind game. The mind has to be stronger than the body. So I pushed everything out, and it was one of the slowest marathons I ever run. Everyone was running the same pace except Patrick, but so I was still in a race, and I was still thinking I'm doing something really good. So just keep going, just keep going. But it was really, really painful.
How much of your performance that day, you talk about the mindset of it, was pushed by the fact that you're seeing all these other people struggling as well, and you're like, well, they're struggling, I'm struggling, I just got to outdo them by a little bit, and not so much run the 330 kilometer pace or whatever you're used to running. You didn't have to worry about that as much, is what it sounds like, and you just kind of did a little bit better, and the mindset came, and mentally were able to get through it. Is that what helped you?
Yeah, definitely. Like in my opinion, I know I can run faster. I did a 2:35 marathon in Frankfurt, and I think normally you can run faster, but it was such a hard conditions. If I see at the running times, like with my time, I still had like the 8 running time. So it was, you saw everybody struggling. So then I already, like on the energy lab, I was already thinking everybody is really struggling. So now it's indeed a mind game instead of having a good run or a bad one. I don't know why it was, because I think it was because of the humidity was really, really high. Yeah, I don't know. The only Patrick was managed to run like crazy, but the rest was really, really struggling. So yeah, it's I like my one of my coaches always said, to be an Ironman you need to be stronger than the pain. And I think that was something in the race that I just keep thinking. So yeah, that's basically what it is in an Ironman.
Yeah, that's quite the mental shift from going in a couple weeks before the race, not knowing if you're going to be able to finish it, to being able to fight through the pain to the finish and actually have a good result. So after that race, how did you come away from it? From, obviously fifth place at the Ironman World Championships is an incredible result, but it sounds like you didn't quite run the time you wanted to. How did you feel after the race? What was that?
Yeah, I was over the moon. Like what I said in the beginning, I was thinking if I could make it to the finish line, not knowing any place, I would be really happy. But then when you become 5th, it's something, yeah, you never expected. My family was after the finish, my girlfriend, so it was a really emotional moment. But also like when you are 2-3 hours after the race and you see, oh shit, I'm 1 minute 20 from podium, you still that's the sportsman comes back really quick. Then and you think, I'm just 120 from podium. When I started slower in the beginning, maybe I could run on the podium. It's that's but still every day I'm training, or like every day I have the thought of Hawaii in my head. So like what I did there was really something special. So that's something that's always keeps reminding me that I did a really good job. So yeah, that was one happy race there.
Do you think that, I'm sure you've had plenty of testing. I think we just saw you getting tested recently. Do you think your physiology was more in line with the longer distance, the middle distance, T100, Ironman type distance, as opposed to the Olympic distance that you were kind of dreaming of when you were younger? And you think you're just built perfectly for this distance at this point?
Yeah, definitely. When I was already a shorter distance athlete, I was always preferring like the Olympic distance over the sprint distance. And yeah, I was like more of a longer engine guy. Like a lot of athletes where I trained with for like when we prepare for Olympics, but they were really, really fast. And when we did long rides, my capacity came, more into training. And then you saw, okay, he has a bigger engine. So my coach always said like, when he trained me when I was doing short distance, and he's still training me, he always said, "You are some good athlete for longer distance in the future." But he also was having confidence in me that I was able to went to the Olympics, even when I did had to do a super sprint and a mixed relay. But yeah, now it was my choice. My choice was to go to longer distance, and I think if I see the short distance athlete now, I think it was a really good decision to go to. It's still, I always wanted to go to Olympics. It's still always in my mind, but yeah, I think I have a good replacement now with doing longer distance and go to races like Hawaii. It's I think it's even, for me it's even better now than going to Olympics.
Yeah, speaking of Hawaii there, so going onto the island is something that a lot of triathletes just dream of for their whole triathlon career and experience. How did you feel being on the island? Did you feel that kind of Hawaii, Ohana magic out there? Was it something different compared to other races you've done? What was that like?
Definitely. When we came there, I was together with Tristan and the coach, and what I said, we were 2.5 weeks there before, and it was, I don't know, like I always watched the Ironman documentaries, like from, I don't know, the year 2000 until 2022, always on the turbo trainer I watched the Ironman documentaries. So the crazy thing is, like, when I went to the pier, I was like, yeah, I know it here, I know where we are now, but in reality everything is a little bit smaller. So it was really special to really be there. It's I think it's a little bit compared by, if you see a movie and they are on the spot of the movie and you go there as well. It has the same feeling, like I know where we are now. And the whole training atmosphere with all the athletes who are on the island, of course, I think um it's from, in my opinion, there has to be woman and men's race on Hawaii. So it's still, that's still one thing, but overall it's a crazy sport event. And yeah, even the Queen K is something special to ride on. Even when you do it 10, 15 times, it's every time it's special.
Sounds like you'll be back based on the goals that you have set there. And fifth place was only a minute 20
beginning.
off of the podium. Yeah, exactly. So
No,
not a
definitely
bad
will be
day.
back.
Well, you got some long distance racing ahead of you, and I think you might recognize some places at your next race, Singapore. We see that in a lot of movies. And how are you prepping for that heat? I mean, you talk about Kona and then Singapore, pretty similar with humidity, craziness, but first race of the year, and not all of us get to train in that type of weather right now.
No, definitely. I'm an athlete who is responding quite well in heat. So yeah, the heat here in Mallorca is not here yet, but I'm doing a pre-camp in Tayapura in Thailand. It's I think a lot of athletes will go there. So yeah, I will be there for 10 days and to train in the humidity. Yeah, I don't think I do really crazy things there, but just be there and get used to the heat. And then like 4 or 5 days before the race, I fly to Singapore. So yeah, that will be the preparation. But I don't believe in going on a turbo and putting a lot of jackets on or going right indoors in a sauna or something. It's for me, it's going to a place like Thailand. For me, I think it's enough. So yeah, that's the preparation for.
Yeah. So for this year, you're going to be on the full series for the T100, which we're excited to see how that goes for you. But last year, you jumped into a few of the races. How did you first get that call up to do some of the T100 races?
Yeah, I did the first one in Miami.
How was
Um,
it? Yeah.
that
The
was
course there.
it was something. Yeah, I had a late, like in 2023, I had a late race in Cozumel, so I had an ending of the season. So I think I started training at in the beginning of January. Went to training camp in Namibia, like I did this year as well. And then I came back. I switched bike, so I had a new bike for like maybe a week, and then they called up like,
Jeez.
okay, you are a wild card. Can you race in 2 weeks in Miami? And I was like, first of all, I was a little bit disappointment because I didn't have the contract before the race. And I was like 2 places down, so didn't have the contract. But in my opinion, I had no idea I thought everybody will race the first race in Miami, but there was some wild cards, and yeah, I took it. I was not in the best shape, but did some crash training and went to Miami, and yeah, it went very well there. So the first race was a good one. So yeah, let's hope I can start this year the same as last year.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then this year, you definitely made your way up the ranks so that you could get that contract for 2025 to do all of the races in there. Is there one race on the calendar for T100 that you're looking forward to the most? Like, which one would you say suits you?
I think a race like Singapore suits me. Like last year, I was um, there were also some wildcard spots for Singapore last year, but they didn't choose me. Like it was a little bit of they choose other guys to race there, and I was also this was a little bit of a disappointment. But I think I can ride quite good in the heat, and the bike is tough and not that fast, and I think it suits me well. Especially all the hard races are shooting me well. So last year, yeah, I wanted to race there. Yeah, it unfortunately didn't happen. So this year I'm really looking forward to the Singapore race, and yeah, now new on the calendar is the Valencia race. I did a World Cup there like couple of years ago as short distance. So now I can come back as long distance in Valencia, and I think that's a great city. So looking forward to those two races. But I think all the races are really special. Vancouver as well. Yeah, it's all the races are special. It's over the whole world. So yeah, looking forward to. I'm not doing every race, but I think I will be doing 7 or 8 races on the series. So it's a full commitment to T100, and yeah, besides that, I will do Challenge Roth as well. Yeah, a nice season ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you in Vancouver. It probably won't be as hot and humid as Singapore. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but still looking forward to it.
And you mentioned Challenge Roth. Obviously, that has become quite the race and has been for some time, but it seems like every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And
Yeah.
And now you got everyone announcing that they're doing Challenge Roth. And how much are you looking forward to that one?
I thought maybe this year will be an easy year for Challenge Roth, but yeah, every day I see the announcement. It's not getting easier. But yeah, if I don't know, it's this year for me. It's the first opportunity to race. It's like Challenge as Roth. Like last year, I had to do Frankfurt to qualify for Hawaii. So that was not an opportunity. The year before was, I think, it was the same. Or I didn't focus on that one. But yeah, now this year is finally it suits perfect, and you see it with a lot of athletes who are also doing a little bit of T100 that suits well in the program. So yeah, for me it's yeah, a really nice race to see where I'm standing after Hawaii last year. So it will be my only full distance, but a special one.
Yeah, absolutely. That course and that location is just absolutely iconic. Are you looking forward to going up Solobrook Hill with
Yeah,
Everyone cheering
definitely.
around you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tour de France.
yeah. My training partner, Tristan, he already did it like 2 years ago, and he said like Solar here, you don't have to pedal at all. You fly over Solar Hill. So yeah, just really looking forward. And I think that beside Singapore and the whole T100 series, it's one of the main goals this year to be really, really good. Maybe to break my own Dutch record again. Yeah, and like every race, just going for the win and be the best. Yeah, that's one of the main goals of this season.
That's awesome. So you see a lot of the men, and you said it's getting very competitive every day. You see the announcements, and a lot of the men are. It's a non-Kona year. Do you think that's a huge factor for Roth this year, and obviously for your schedule in the T100? Do you think things change a little bit next year when it becomes a Kona year again? Apparently,
For me, it will. Yeah. You never know what next year brings, but like this year, the focus for me is on T100. Because yeah, for me, it's Nice is not a race that suits me. So I already decided to not race or go for Nice, So and now with the T100 series, it suits better to do the T100 series and Roth. But next year, yeah, it will be different because then it's a Kona year again. So I have to qualify somewhere in 2026. And yeah, to be competitive in Hawaii, you not want to race for full distance races in because when you choose next year for Hawaii, you probably will choose again for Pro Series. But also that depends on how I race this year in T100 series, because if I finish top 10, I have a guaranteed contract for next year. Yeah, why not racing again in T100 series? But yeah, last year, like also my longer term goal are also to be the best in Hawaii, and in 1 year Hawaii is back, and I can still now it's time to be better on the full distance again. And I think Rod is a good opportunity to race a full distance in 2025, and then in 2026 I hope to try to be back again on the big island and race really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it'll be good to see you going down in Roth, especially, it's known as a PR course and you already have hold a record for the Dutch. So do you have a time that you're going to try to aim for? Are you going to try to go for the overall record, or what's your biggest goal in Roth?
I think the overall record is crazy, crazy fast. It also depends a little bit on what the weather conditions is. Like if it's really windy or it's like really, really hot or like really cold and rain, like last year a little bit, you never know what the conditions are. But if the conditions are really good, I think in two of the three disciplines I can be on top level and race for a really fast time. And that's swimming and running. And on the bike, I need to be, have the best day of my life to be able to break like, I don't know, 725 or something. That's something what's in my head. But the goal is to at least break 730. Like a couple of years ago, my goal was to break 8 hours, and that's now it's to break 8 hours. It's good, but it's not enough anymore. So I think the new standard now is to break 730. Um, so yeah, I think that's the goal, and I think when you break 730, you have a good chance to be on one of the three steps of the podium.
Yeah, and speaking of the bike and how much of a difference that makes these days, the conversation with bikes is so much around aerodynamics and getting that dialed in to save as much speed as you can. What's been your experience with that? Have you done wind tunnel testing? Have you tried to dial that in? What does it look like?
Yeah, I did some aero testing as well, with everything, also with like helmets, TT bars, wheels, suits as well. So I think it's something that's really important that's nowadays in triathlon. But for those kind of things, you also need a really big budget. I think that the people who are doing a lot of testing have a big budget. And at the moment, the budget for me is not that big to do wind tunnel testing or every 2 months aero testing. So yeah, for me, I'm still a bit basic in that kind of aerodynamics. But yeah, of course, everything, what you read about, those things are faster, or a bottle between your arms, or I take with me. But like the real testing in wind tunnels, no, that's not yet, but maybe in the future.
Well, you talked about the new faster kits. You have made a change in your kit sponsor this year as welcome to the Mana family, and how's that relationship been? And I know you were with Triathlon Insight for a long time, so how has that transition been?
Yeah, with Triathlon Insight, this year we made a change. So last year we were a pro team. Now we, as athletes, are ambassador of the brand, of the magazine, the podcast. So yeah, that was an opportunity to choose your own kit. And I already spoke a couple of times with Philip, and he was in Hawaii. Then we still had like the pro team for going on for 2026, but that changed at the end of the year. When I heard the news about that we continue as an ambassadorship, I directly contacted Philip if there was a spot left. And normally he didn't have a spot left, but for me he made I say that
Exception.
as exception. Sorry. So yeah, and that was it was a really nice conversation, and we set goals, and like quite soon we made some designs for the new suit and signed the contract. And I think it's a brand that's growing, and I'm happy to help to make the brand bigger also in the Netherlands. Yeah, it's a really good. And now also with the quality, I didn't see the suit yet, but like the bibs are really good. Yeah, like everything from the it's on a high production, so it's really good for training and also for racing in the future. So what I said, looking forward to my suit. The design is ready, and I think I will have it next week. Yeah, then you
Excellent.
see how I'm racing in Singapore.
Well, we can't wait to see the new design. And on our side with Mono, we've done lots of aero testing with this suit, and it definitely is fast. So you'll get a couple extra watts.
Yeah, that's what he said as well. So I trust him with that.
Perfect. So you got Singapore is going to be your first race of the season here. Jump straight into the frying pan with the heat and humidity. What race will be up next after that one?
Then I will race Vancouver, T100. Then already is challenge Roth. Like the season is really long, so I don't want to push a lot of to push too lot in the beginning of the year, and maybe also with the Ironman coming up, or like a full distance challenge coming up in July. Don't want to do too much in the beginning of the season, and then focus to the end of the season, because now in the T100 we race until December, so it's a really really long season. So yeah, it's I don't would say a slow start, but it's not that I'm doing all the races in the beginning. I prefer to do more races of the T100 at the end. So yeah, that's the first 3 until Roth, and then it's full focus again on the last 5 or 6 T100 races.
You feel like an underdog in the T100 this year with all the speedy Olympians that everyone's talking about, and then you got Mr. Menno, 5th for Kona coming in too, and even like somebody like Sam Long returning. But you see, like most of the talk is around Hayden and Martin and Yella and all the guys up front. But I feel like somebody like you fits that field pretty well, especially with the swim.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the only guys who do like full long distance in the whole series. I think I'm the only one. I raced Hawaii last year, and maybe also Benito and Gregory as well. So not the only one, but yeah, still I think I still have a lot of speed, and working on speed now, and working on the bike as well. Yeah, it's I think Underdog is a good way to call it. But yeah, the guys with the Olympic, I don't know. It's a mix, you know. They're really fast on the Olympic distance or the short distance, but don't underestimate the T100 distance, because it's something different than just a little bit more than an Olympic distance. Yeah, it's a complete other discipline, you know. You have to ride on your own, and it's not in a group like in WTS. So I think they are really good and really fast, but I hope I can make it difficult to compete as well. I want to compete, not just only race there. I still want to compete for the highest places.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can't wait to see how you go here in the T100. It's going to be an exciting season of racing ahead for sure. Before you go, though, we've got a couple kind of quick fire questions, a little outside of the box here, and wanted to get your thoughts on it. So We'll start off here with what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten during like training or racing? Stopped at some random spot just because you're bonking. Have you ever had anything just totally weird?
Oh, weird. Yeah, like in the Netherlands, sometimes when we go to the coast, we eat like what you in England have like fish and chips. It's fried fish. It's in the middle of a long ride, and the whole time you have wind ahead, and you're at 2 hours or 3 hours, you're completely bonked, and then the only thing you can eat is like a fried fish and some chips, and then you're and one sip of cola, and you're back alive again. So I think that's one of the weirdest, and the best way to eat it in the Netherlands is to go to the coastline because they have the best fish there. So I think that's the one.
That would be good in the middle of a ride. Hopefully you don't have too much intensity after that.
No. Normally that are like the longer easy rides, but
Oh, good.
with longer easy rides you can also be really empty on a certain point.
Yeah, definitely. If you had to race a triathlon as a pair with another pro athlete, who would it be? Now, this could be someone who would help you go faster, or it could just be someone that you want to spend the day doing an Ironman with.
Yeah, if I want to, like, it's not competing, it's together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like a guy I grew up with is like Jan Frodeno at the Olympics, but also with the 3 times world championship. So I think it will be Jan, not only to race with him, but ask him a lot of questions, what he do and what like the do's and the don'ts. So I think the answer will be Frodeno.
You get to see him a lot
definitely
this year.
Yeah, I hope so.
I know. Have we heard if he's going to be back announcing again or not with the T100? He definitely adds a lot to it there.
I don't know. I hope so. It will be. It's a good part of T100.
Absolutely. Well, if you had to give up one segment of triathlon for life, swimming, biking, or running, which one would it be? You could never do it again.
Yeah, I think I would like. It's my weakest, so I would say the cycling.
Fair enough. And that's the one that needs all the kit and the equipment too. So it's much easier.
Yeah, it's
The most expensive.
The most expensive and the most annoying sometimes, especially when it's raining. Running is not a problem, and swimming is also not a problem. But it like cycling is always it comes with the weather, you know.
Definitely. Well, if triathlon had a fourth discipline, what would be the activity that you would add that would give you an advantage?
Yeah, like in sports or anything.
Yeah, anything really. Could be football, or could be if you're
Mark Matthews said drinking, so
yeah.
Now, if we stick it to sports, I would say in the Netherlands now we play a lot of padel. You know it?
No.
I think in America it's similar like pickleball.
Pickleball. Okay, yeah.
But in the Netherlands we have padel. I would say I think I'm quite good. So if it's a fourth discipline, and if there a lot of athletes still don't know it, I have an advantage.
Yeah, we're finding a lot of triathletes don't have good hand-eye coordination anyways.
I have mine is quite well.
That's why he would pick it. I spent 3.5 hours on the turbo last night watching the new F1 season, and it seems like they all love playing pickleball in their off time.
Yeah,
it's
really big in Europe. It's really big in Europe. Here in Mallorca, you have like a padel court on every street. It's crazy.
Really? Jeez. What is your guilty pleasure song that gets you kind of pumped up and fired up before a race or hard training session?
Yeah, like I'm a fan of drinking Coca-Cola. So if I can sip some cola before training, I'm always pumped up. Yeah, that's my guilty pleasure.
There we go. And then last one, what's a piece of advice that you've been given throughout your career that has resonated with you that you think others would learn from?
Don't worry too much about the amount of training you always have to do. I think in triathlon, it's a normal mindset that we always want to do more and more and more. But more is not always better. And especially, I saw it last year with Hawaii. That I did a little bit too much, and then it can ruin your whole I don't say career, but a really important part of your career, or like a really important race. It can ruin really fast. So I would say, of course, you have to make the hours, and you have to train, and you have to do the things, but don't stress too much to do. You don't have to do always more. And that's my advice to myself, but also to others.
Yeah.
We
definitely.
did get a number of questions from the audience, but I'm trying to like summarize it into one. And I think one that we haven't talked about is anything specific training wise in that discipline you don't like as much, cycling, or what are some of the workouts you're doing right now in prep for the T100 distance that maybe you haven't done in the past, or something that you're really focusing on? What does one of those days look like? What does one of those cycling workouts look like?
Currently, at the moment, I'm working a lot of my strength on the bike. For me, it's like torque sessions, like really low cadence with a lot of power, combined with VO2 max sessions. So it's a little bit more like how I trained in the past when I did short distance. But for example, like in a week, I do three or two quality sessions. So like sometimes there are some longer TT sessions, like 20 minutes on 350 watts or something, and that 3 times. But last Saturday I did 12 times 2 minutes uphill, and then we do 60 RPM, and then like targeting above 500 watts or something. So that's a really strength training. And I started with that halfway last year, and I think it made me stronger. And I saw it already in Hawaii when I was uphill. Like, I'm not the lightest athlete. I'm 80 plus kilos, so I have to push a lot of power to get up, and also like on the straights, we have to reduce more power to go faster. So like before that, I didn't do too much strength training on the bike, so it was more like tempo endurance rides, but no strength. So there's a lot of more strength and some VO2 max inside of my training rhythm now. So I think that's one of the for me the most important things now to improve in cycling.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do one more question from the audience here. Someone asked about your Strava post. He says you share your power and pace on Strava, but not your heart rate. Is there any reason for that, or it's just not connected?
Don't use heart rate. I just
Okay.
run on feeling. In the beginning when I started training at the federation, I did use a heart rate, but not anymore. So it's I just run on feeling.
That's something we don't see often these days. Everyone is so
No.
dialed in to this degree.
Yeah. And especially also with rides. Of course, you watch your watts and your power, but like in endurance rides, I don't look that much on what I have to ride. I just let the engine rolling, and when it has to go fast, it has to go fast, and when it has to go slow, you have to go slow. But especially when I did my first couple of Ironmans, I didn't run with watch. I just run
Really?
without. And especially also now in races like Hawaii, I have to watch, but I only see time and distance. I don't see pace. I just want to. Yeah, I'm somebody who trains on feeling and not on pace. Of course, in running you train on pace sometimes, but sometimes I have a good day and I run 40 the kilometer, and sometimes I have a bad day and I just go a little bit slower. That's more like a feeling of how you feel on the day.
Yeah, that running and riding by feel is definitely underestimated these days. Sometimes it's
Not
good
a
to
lot of
be
athletes, not a lot of athletes use it at the moment. So I can't run with a heart rate. I really hate it. Yes. So yeah.
Fair enough. Well, thank you so much here for joining us and letting us dive into a little bit more of your history and what you have for 2025. It sounds like it's going to be an epic season ahead, and we're definitely looking forward to watching you through the T100 series and hopefully setting another record here at Challenge Roth.
Let's go for it. Yes. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Have a great
evening. Thanks for
evening.
joining us, Menno. It's been great chatting, and good luck in Singapore. Good luck in the last couple of weeks of training here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you much for joining, and hope we see each other in the season somewhere.